All right, guys. Welcome once again. I'm looking at GBP USD. Again, let me just go on the higher time frame. I just like to, because we're starting the week, so I'd like to see what's happening. GU has been rallying, really upside, pushing up, pushing higher. But we got to an interesting level here. Okay, and formed a high. So there's that potential for GU to continue pushing higher. This is definitely going to be, again, a level of, we'll see some repeat performance in terms of price trying to push up here, just based on this level here, in terms of, retesting this level. I anticipate that happening at some point. But we see last week what happened is, gold pushed up, okay, but then there was a bit of a rejection. So it formed another level here, interesting level here, okay. Look at it. So these high, there's interesting levels up here that I believe G will actually retest. So I'm looking at it right now, guys, and I'm like, okay, we are definitely possibly going to open bullish. But with this rejection here, we may see a shift downwards, possibly take out this previous lows here. But this is on the weekly, so I'll just dial it down to the daily, which will give me a better. So we are seeing GU pushed up here. And I think now we may retest this zone below here and actually push lower, because when I look at it from this perspective, I see like this potential for us to push this lower. But there's also, just similarly to just looking a bit similar to gold, there's this interesting zone here. We are definitely going to push back into this zone at some point. So I'd like to see how this opens up. We may see a push up when the market opens this way, but right now we're looking bearish. We have been scaling lower highs. We did break this previous high here, okay, and we have retested it again. So there's that potential to move back into this zone. And if that does happen, I know, I am anticipating a rejection, which might be a very strong rejection to the downside. So I'm bearish on GU in terms of in the longer term, in terms of how price may be shifting towards the end of the week, but we may see a push up. So I would want to see what happens in the next couple of minutes, hours, but definitely we'll be looking at this. We are in a range, we are in a sideways range right now. So it just looks like we've been accumulating longs here and we have been pushing price higher, okay? And we may attempt to take out these highs before we shift lower, okay? So that's basically how I'm seeing it. So maybe towards the end of the week, we'll see the downward shift, but that is all dependent on how the market opens. So if we start to push higher, we'll definitely be attempting to get back to this zone. If we reject this level of liquidity up here, we will then begin to shift lower, okay? But technically, I'm not seeing us breaking this range anytime soon. We are still in this sideways consolidation zone. Okay, that's GU. So when I look at Euro JPY, I'm just looking at the pairs specifically, guys, that I trade, okay? If you guys follow me, you know that I trade 5 currency pairs, and I tend to analyze 5 currency pairs and 2 commodities, gold and indices. So that's what I'm looking at today. I do trade other currencies, but for the purpose of my analysis, I'm just going to look at those pairs. So I've already looked at gold in a previous video. You can check that out. So I'm on Euro JPY right now, and Euro JPY has been pushing lower. Okay, we are actually retesting previous levels here. This is on the daily, okay, and we see that we bounced off this level, and then we got to an interesting zone up here. But I just want to again check the weekly to see how the weekly levels are looking. Okay, so we're still shifting lower. Okay, there was a bit of a rejection here. So we took out a previous low here. But I believe right now, I mean, on the weekly, we are really long. I mean, we are pushing up. There's this level up here that we'll be looking to retest at some point. So this rejection here just convinces me that, that Euro JPY may be shifting upside on the weekly. And we can see that price pushed to this level, and kind of like has been in this interesting sideways thing going on, a bit of a rejection up here on these candles. I wouldn't be surprised if we pushed higher, but we are definitely pushing lower. Okay, but I feel like we took out some lows here. We now formed some lows here. We may push lower, take out more lows here before we push up. We are in this range as well. Okay. So I feel like we are bullish on Euro JPY. We should see price pushing higher. Like as you can see here, you can see. So I mean, they're kind of looking. It's kind of looking like we have now entered into some consolidation here on the daily. We've been in this consolidation zone. Yes, we've been pushing lower. I mean, there was FOMC on last week. So we saw shifts in the market. So like you can see, guys, we're in this zone here, but we've been actually pushing higher. So in as much as there's been rejection upside, we've actually been creating higher lows. Okay, so looking at this, we may shift lower. Okay, possibly shift lower before we push up, but I'm bullish on Euro JPY. Okay, but before we see that shift up, we may see prices pushing lower before we push higher. Yeah, and take out all this liquidity. So in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we came all the way down to the 129, 187 level, this level here, and then shift to the upside. So I'm I'm foreseeing a downtrend on market open. We'll see how things are looking in the London session. But I anticipate will at some point, Mondays, it's usually nice to see how the market plays out, and it usually gives you a direction of how things will go on in the remainder of the week. So looking at Euro AUD, the third currency pair that I trade, Euro AUD broke structure here, okay. And let me look at the higher time frame though before I make my. So if you look at it at this point in time, this is where we're at. Euro AUD shifted higher, came below. It's just been taking lower, lower highs, taking out lower highs and shifting higher. We are now this level. I would want to see what happens here. We may actually just continue to push up, okay? We may continue to see a shift up. Let me look at the daily. Yeah, looking very bullish, by the way. Looking very bullish. The candle that closed was very bullish. But we may just see it shift lower, okay, before we actually push up. So if we don't break this level here on market open, we can anticipate us shifting lower, okay, shifting lower. Let me see. Yeah. We definitely may open on a downtrend, but we're still bullish long term, okay? Longer term. So Euro, so I've looked at Euro JPY, Euro AUD, and there's Euro CAD that I also like to look at. Euro CAD has been on a downtrend, technically, shifting lower. So there's just been, and we are at a previous level of structure. When you look left here, some interesting level. Yeah. Yep. Let me just zoom in. So that's basically it. What we are seeing here. Okay. And we can see what happened here. Okay. So again, price has been shifting lower, taking out lower levels of liquidity, and now kind of like shifting to the upside. This is a very interesting zone here. Okay. We may continue pushing lower with the cards. We may continue pushing lower. But again, I will wait to see how the market looks when it opens up. For me, these are interesting levels. Okay. I feel like we are going to shift lower. But when I look at the lower time frame, Yeah, there's room to retest these levels. Okay. So technically, we may open lower and then bounce off that the 1.47156 zone, within that zone. So this is basically what I'm looking at. So technically, all the pairs I'm looking at right now, just looking almost the same. Let me look at US 30. US 30. So US 30 kind of freaked us out last week, made us think it was going to break this previous high, dallied above it kind of, and then just dropped again. It wasn't quite ready, but we are seeing this, the previous week, there was a major shift in rejection on the downside. Let me look at the daily. So we're just here. What I'm anticipating on US 30 is a shift lower and then a rally to the top. And we may then break structure at some point. So guys, right now, the market is looking like it will open lower, with shifts lower. So I think that's basically what I'm seeing. Okay, let me just look at Euro JPY once more. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Euro AUD. Euro AUD, we may just continue shifting upside. Okay, just because of this really strong bullish candle. We may try to retest the 1.62525 level. But this is something, like we'll wait and see when market opens. Let me look at GBP, JPY, our last pair for the night. Nice rejection up here in the daily. This swing high is interesting. So GG has been also, like on this downtrend kind of move. But I think I'm bullish on GJ as well. Anticipate a move upside. Very interesting zone here. I do anticipate, with this major rejection on the daily, I'm seeing like, we are just ready to just continue pushing higher, So, looking at the lower time frame, maybe even shift lower. This really bearish candle here is awesome. So that's, what I'm looking at. We are in this range. Now, if this break to the downside doesn't happen, completely to this level. We'll probably just shift to the 152.086 before we shift to the upside, retesting this previous level. So again, guys, I think the best time to look at this will be once the market opens past midnight New York time, midnight New York time. See what's happening. It's a Monday. It'll be a Monday early morning. So Mondays sometimes can be slow. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but technically, guys, we are on some pairs, we are ranging sideways. We may open lower, but generally, I'm really biased on continuation upside. But I feel like we may open lower at the start of the week on most of these currencies that I've just looked at, including the US 30 index and gold. And then maybe towards the end of the week, we'll now start to see lower levels of structure holding on, and rejecting, further push lower, and then we begin to see the rally towards the upside. So that's my take, guys. Generally, thank you for tuning in. Sorry, I'm really struggling with my cold still. It's this really cold season here. And yeah, so if my voice is not as, excited or chirpy, bear with me, guys. Bear with me. So thank you once again. If you're brand new to my channel, please like and subscribe. Feel free to look at my previous videos on my analysis of golds that I did in my previous video. Yes, and have a lovely trading week ahead, guys. See you soon. Bye.